Good morning to all of you. Hope you are doing well. So, in this video, we are going to start our lesson, and which is the book from Footprint Without Feet, and this is the first lesson, A Triumph of Surgery, written by James Herriot. So, before we start the lesson, let me tell you the meaning of the title, A Triumph of Surgery. Now, what is the triumph? Triumph means victory. When you win over something, clear, that is called triumph. And why it's the triumph of a surgery, this will you will come to know while reading the lesson. So let's start. So Tricky, a small dog, is pampered and overfed by his rich mistress. He falls seriously ill, and his mistress consults a veterinary surgeon. Does he perform an operation? Not sorry. Does he perform an operation? Does the dog recover? So here is the main character of the story, and that is Tricky. Tricky is a small dog, and his mistress is very rich and wealthy, you can say, and she loves her dog, she loves her pet too much, and Tricky was overfed by her mistress, sorry, not by his mistress, and he falls seriously ill. So she consulted with a veterinary doctor or veterinary surgeon. And does he perform any operation or surgery? Okay, so here are some questions which arises in our mind. So why is Mrs. Pamphry worried about Tricky? What does she do to help him? Is she wise in this? Who does I refer to in the story? So here is a type of our comprehension, and these questions we are going to find. Okay, so I was really worried about Tricky this time. I had pulled up my car when I saw him in the street with his mistress, and I was shocked at his appearance. Now, who is I? I is the narrator, means the veterinary surgeon, or you can say Dr. Herriot is the narrator of the story. The story begins with the appearance of Tricky. When Dr. Herriot saw Tricky, he was very shocked at the appearance of Tricky. And Tricky was with his mistress, Mrs. Pamphry. He had become ugly, hugely fat, like a bloated sausage with the leg at each corner. Now, what is the bloated sausage? Bloated sausage is a eatable thing. Okay, and Tricky's look is just similar to that sausage with legs. His eyes, bloodshot and rheumy, stared straight ahead, and his tongue lolled from his jaw. His eyes was red, and there was water in his eyes, or some type of liquid which coming out of his eyes, and he was looking straight, and his tongue that came out of his jaws or mouth. Mrs. Pamphry hasn't to explain. He was so listless, Mr. Herriot. He seems to have no energy. I thought he must be suffering from malnutrition, so I have been giving him some little extra between meals to build him up. Some malt and cod liver oil and a bowl of Horlicks at night to make him sleep. Nothing much really. So Mrs. Pamphry, she thought that Tricky was suffering with malnutrition, and he was so listless, means he doesn't have any energy. He was very lazy to work. All right, and she just thought that it's all about malnutrition, all due to malnutrition. And she mentioned some eatable things which she used to give Tricky, because she thought that he needs much fatty things or fatty acid or vitamins. So she used to give some things like Horlicks, cod liver oil. Actually, these things are very dangerous for dogs. All right, these things are not meant for dogs. They need healthy food, but not this food. And she again mentioned that these things are nothing. You can see in the last, nothing much really, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं. So you can see that she doesn't have any knowledge how to bear up the dogs, that what kind of food give to dogs, she don't know. And did you cut down on the sweet things as I told you? Again, Dr. Harriet asked her that did she cut down the sweet things. Actually, before that incident, before that encounter, Dr. Harriet, he advised Mr. Pemfrey to cut down the sweet things from Tricky's diet. Oh, I did for a bit, but he seemed to be so weak I had to relent. He does love cream cakes and chocolates, so I can't bear to refuse him. She replied that she did it for a little, but Tricky's favorite food is like cream cakes and chocolates, and she, as I told you, she loved her dog, her pet too much, and she couldn't refuse to give him this kind of food or sweets. I looked down again at the little dog that was the trouble. Tricky's only fault was greed. He had never been known to refuse food. He would tackle a meal at any hour of the day or night, and I wondered about all the things Mrs. Pemfrey hadn't mentioned. So when she said Dr. Harriet that she couldn't refuse Tricky, then Dr. Harriet looked again at Tricky, and Tricky was in trouble. And the main problem and the major problem with Tricky is his greed for food. He could food at any time in the day or night, any hour he can eat food, he can tackle food. Alright, he didn't know how to refuse. Right, so this is the main problem with the Tricky. His main problem wasn't malnutrition but overfeeding. Overfeeding is his main problem. And Dr. Harriet mentioned that he was worried some other things, some other eatable things which Mrs. Pemfrey hadn't mentioned. Alright. Are you giving him plenty of exercise? Again, Dr. Harriet asked about the exercises. That is she giving Tricky any exercise? Well, he has his little walks with me, as you can see, but Hodgkin, the gardener, has been down with Lumango. Lumango basically is a name of disease. It's a kind of back pain. Okay, so there has been no ring throwing lately. So when Dr. Harriet asked about the exercise, she replied that Tricky took little walks with her, but their gardener Hodgkin, he was down, he was not well. So the exercise which Tricky performed with him, like ring throwing, okay, that had been stopped. Clear? I tried to sound severe. Now I really mean this. If you don't cut his food right down and give him more exercise, he is going to be really ill. You must harden your heart and keep him on a very strict diet. You can see in the picture that Dr. Harriet instructing Mr. Pamphry on a serious note that if you or if she don't cut the diet of Tricky, that going to be really worse, and she must be strict, or she must harden her heart and keep Tricky on a strict diet. Mrs. Pamphry wrung her hands. Oh, I will, Mr. Harriet. I am sure you are right, but it is so difficult, so very difficult. She set off, head down along the road as if determined to put a new regime into practice immediately. When Dr. Harriet instructed her, after that she wrung her hands and she said that she would definitely she will cut down the diet or put him taking on a strict diet, and he said that was very difficult for her because she loved her dog too much, and it seemed that she is determined to cut the Tricky's diet. All right, I watched their progress with growing concern. Tricky was tottering along in his little tweed coat. He had a whole wardrobe of these coats for the cold weather and the raincoat for the wet days. He struggled on drooping in his harness. I thought it wouldn't be long before I heard from Mrs. Pamphry. Now, what is tottering? When someone is walking but he hasn't have any complete balance, लड़खड़ाते हुए चलना, that is called tottering. Why the Tricky totters? Because he was covered with woolen coat. Okay, and it was a trouble for Tricky because the first is his body fat and the second is clothing. Okay, and Tricky has a whole wardrobe of all type of coats, winter coats, raincoat, etc., etc. The expected call came within a few days, and Dr. Harriet was expecting a call from Mrs. Pamphry, and the call came. Mrs. Pamphry was distraught. Distraught means worried. Tricky would eat nothing, refused even his favorite dishes, and beside he had bouts of vomiting. He spent all the time laying on a rug painting, didn't want to go for a walk, didn't want to do anything. She was very worried. Why she was worried? Because Tricky, he refused to eat any food or his favorite meals or eatable things also, and moreover he had bouts of vomiting, means vomiting after vomitings, and he spent all his time laying on the rug, means on the, you can say, cloth or any type of mat. Clear? And he didn't want to do anything, didn't want to go and walk anywhere. I had made my plan in advance. The only way was to get Tricky out of the house for a period. And Dr. Harriet, when he received the call, he made up his mind, made some plans that to cure Tricky, and the only way to cure Tricky is to get Tricky out from the house. I suggested that he be hospitalized for about a fortnight. Now, what is fortnight? Fortnight is 2 weeks time. Okay, to be kept under observation. Okay, so he suggested Mrs. Pamphry that Tricky must be hospitalized for 2 weeks, or you can say fortnight. Under the observation, the poor lady almost swooned. Swoon means behoshi ki halat. When she heard it, okay, she almost lost her conscience. She was sure he would pine and die if he did not see her every day, and she was quite sure if Tricky don't doesn't see her, that he will definitely die. But I took a firm line. Tricky was very ill, and this was the only way to save him. In fact, I thought it best to take him without delay, and followed by Mrs. Pemford's wailings, I marched out to the car carrying the little dog wrapped in a blanket. So Mrs. Pemfrey became very sad when she heard that Tricky has to be hospitalized. But Dr. Harriet, he was very clear that if you want to save Tricky, that he must be hospitalized. There is no other option. This is the only way to save Tricky. And and not delaying Dr. Harriet, he went to Mrs. Pemfrey's house and he wrapped the little dog in a blanket. The entire staff was roused, and Mace rushed in and out, bringing his day bed, his night bed, favorite cushions, toys, rubber rings, breakfast bowl, lunch bowl, supper bowl. So now you can see when Dr. Harriet reached their house, all the servants and maids, they rushed and bringing the items of stuff for Tricky, his day bed, night bed, supper bowl, lunch bowl, breakfast bowl, toys, etc. etc. Now you can see the love of Mrs. Pemfrey for Tricky. Alright. Realizing that my car would never hold all the stuff, I started to drive away. As I moved off, Mrs. Pemfrey, with a despairing cry, threw an armful of little coat through the window. I looked in the mirror before I turned the corner of the drive. Everybody was in tears. So Dr. Harriet realized that his car doesn't carry all the stuff. Okay, so he started driving, and Mrs. Pemfrey, she was in despairing cry. Okay, and she threw a armful coat from the window. Clear? And Dr. Harriet, he looked from his side mirror that everybody was in tears. Out on the road, I glanced down at the pathetic little animal gasping on the seat by my side. I patted the head, and Tricky made a brave effort to wag his tail. Poor old lad, I said, you haven't a kick in you, but I think I know a cure for you. So when they both were on the road, Dr. Harriet and Tricky, Dr. Harriet looked at Tricky, and he was trying to, breathe. And when Dr. Harriet rubbed his hand, patted his head, like he was trying to make a reply, and Dr. Harriet said that you have no energy, but he knows a cure for Tricky. At the surgery, the household dogs surged around me. Tricky looked down at the noisy pack of dull eyes, and when put down, lay motionless on the carpet. The other dogs, after sniffing round him for a few seconds, decided he was an uninteresting object and ignored him. Okay, when they reached the hospital, they reached the surgery, the household dogs who were already there, they came and sniffed and smelled Tricky, and the Tricky looked at them with these dull eyes, but he didn't show any movement. And the other dogs find that this was a motionless creature, a motionless thing, and they ignored him. I made up a bed for him in a warm loose box next to the one where the other dogs slept. For 2 days I kept an eye on him, giving him no food but plenty of water. At the end of the second day, he started to show some interest in his surroundings, and on the third, he began to whimper when he heard the dogs in the yard. So when Dr. Tricky made a bed for Tricky with the other dogs, where the other dogs slept, clear? Where the other dogs slept. And for 2 days, he gave him nothing but plenty of water. And on the second day, evening, Tricky was showing some interest in the activities of other dogs. When the other dogs, he heard the sounds of other dogs in the garden, in the yard. Alright. When I opened the door, Tricky trotted out and was immediately engulfed by Joe, the greyhound, and his friends. So now when he come out from his box, or you can say bed, and he was immediately covered by Joe, name of a dog, greyhound, and his friends, means the other dogs. After rolling him over and thoroughly inspecting him, the dog moved off down the garden. Tricky followed them, rolling slightly with his surplus fat. They were playing with the Tricky, because Tricky was a little dog and the other dogs were quite big. They were rolling him up and down, and after they went into the garden, and Tricky followed them with his surplus fat. Later that day, I was present at feeding time. I watched while Tristan slopped the food into the wall. There was a usual headlong rush, followed by the sound of high speed eating. Every dog knew that if he fell behind the other, he was liable to have some competition for the last part of his meal. So that day, Dr. Harriet was present in the garden, and that was the feeding time of the dogs. And the Tristan, maybe some companion or supporter or helper of Dr. Harriet, he slopped the food into the bowls, and the dogs rushed to take their meal, because they know if they don't rush or if they late, that they must have a competition for their meal. When they had finished, Tricky took a walk around the shining bowl, licking casually inside one and two of them. Next day, an extra bowl was put out for him, and I was pleased to see him jostling his way towards it. When they had finished, Tricky, he took a walk to the shining bowls and licking casually inside two of them. The next day, an extra bowl for Tricky was put in the garden, and Dr. Harriet was very happy, because Tricky was approaching to that bowl to get his food. From then on, his progress was rapid. He had no medical treatment of any kind, but all day he ran about with the dogs, joining in their friendly scrimmage. He discovered the joys of being bowled over, trampled on, and squashed. Every few minutes, he became an accepted member of the gang, an unlikely, silly little object among the shaggy crew, fighting like a tiger for his share at mealtime, and hunting rats in the old hen house at night. He had never such a time in his life. So his progress, his improvement become rapid in those days, and Dr. Harriet didn't give him any medical treatment, but lot of exercise. He run with the dogs, he play with the dogs, he enjoys every activity performed in that surgery, and he never had this type of joy in his lifetime, because I told you Mrs. Pamphry loved him so much, and she always pampered him. Okay, and in the mealtime he fights for his meal like tiger, clear, and in the night he ran after the mouse. All right. All the while, Mrs. Pamphry hovered anxiously in the background, ringing a dozen times a day for the latest bulletin. I dodged the question about whether his questions were being turned regularly or his correct coat worn according to the weather, but I was able to tell her that the little fellow was out of danger and convalescing rapidly. So Tricky was enjoying, but Mrs. Pamphry, she was very worried and sad. She called 12 or dozen times in a day to know about whether the cushions of Tricky turned or not, whether he wear the seasonal coat or not. Okay, but Dr. Harriet only replied that he's out of danger now and he's recovering rapidly. The word wilting seems to be do something to Mrs. Pamphry. She started to bring around fresh eggs, 2 dozen at a time, to build up Tricky strength for happy period. My partners and I had 2 eggs each for breakfast. But when the bottle of wine began to arrive, the real possibility of the situation began to dawn on the household. So when Dr. Harriet told that the Tricky is really recovering, that has some effect on Mrs. Pamphry. She started to send some eatable things like eggs, 2 dozen of eggs, you know, wine, etc. And Dr. Harriet and his companions, they had 2 extra eggs in the breakfast. It was to enrich Tricky's blood. Lunch became a ceremonial occasion with 2 glasses of wine before and several during the meal. So Mrs. Pamphry, she used to send wine in the hospital to nourish Tricky's blood. But as I told you that Dr. Harriet didn't give him any medical reason or any extra food, because I told you that Tricky fall ill because of overfeeding. So Dr. Harriet and his companion, they enjoyed that wine before and during the meal. Clear, that was a kind of ceremony for them. We could hardly believe it when the brandy came to put an final edge on Tricky's constitution. For a few nights, the fine spirit was rolled around, inhaled, and evidently drunk. They they couldn't believe on their eyes when the brandy came for Tricky. But as I told you, Dr. Harriet and his friends, they enjoyed that brandy at night. They were days of deep content, starting well with the extra egg in the morning, improved and sustained by the midday wine, and finishing luxuriously round the fire with the brandy. So they used to eat 2 extra eggs in the morning, wine in the lunchtime, and brandy at night. It was a temptation to keep Tricky on as a permanent guest, but I knew Mrs. Pamphry was suffering, and after a fortnight, felt compelled to phone and tell her that the little dog had recovered and was awaiting collection. So Dr. Harry didn't want to let him go. Why? Because they enjoyed their days very much and they were so contented and satisfied with that meal. But Dr. Harriet also knew that Mrs. Pamphry was very worried, and it's not good to keep Tricky so long. So he was compelled to phone Mrs. Pamphry and said that Tricky is well now and waiting for you. Within minutes, about 30 feet of gleaming black metal drove outside the surgery. Gleaming black metal is a description of the car. Okay, Mrs. Pumphrey, she reached in the surgery in her car. The chauffeur is the driver. Chauffeur opened the door, and I could just make out the figure of Mrs. Pumphrey almost locked in the interior. Her hands were tightly clasped in the front of her. Her lips trembled. Oh, Mr. Harriet, do tell me the truth. Is he really better? And she wore a luxurious dress and ornaments that her appearance was completely lost with the car, with the, you can say, the material, with the ornaments. And she was very nervous, and she asked that is Ricky really well? Yes, he's fine. There is no need for you to get out the car. I'll go and fetch him. And Dr. Harriet said that he's totally fine now and you don't need to come out from the car. I'll go inside and fetch Ricky. I walked through the house into the garden. A mass of dog was hurtling round and round the lawn. In the midst, near flapping, tail waving, was the little golden figure of Tricky. In 2 weeks, he had been transformed into a lithe, hard muscle animal. He was keeping up well with the pack, stretching out in the great bounds, his chest almost brushing the ground. So here is a description of Tricky. When Dr. Harriet went inside, he found that he was in between or midst of the other dogs, and he became a muscle dog now. Okay, when he came in that surgery, he was a fatty dog, but now he became a muscled animal, muscle active. His body is totally transformed. I carried him back along the passage to the front of the house. The chauffeur was still holding the car door open, and when Ricky saw his mistress, he took off from my arms in a tremendous leap and sailed into Mrs. Pumphrey's lap. She gave a startled oh, and then had to defend herself as he swarmed over her, licking her face and barking. So, when the Dr. Tricky brought, so not Dr. Tricky, Dr. Harriet brought Tricky, and the driver, he was still there on the gate. And when Ricky saw his mistress, he jumped from his arms, from Dr. Harriet's arms, and into Mrs. Pumphrey's lap. He was very excited, and he was so excited that Mrs. Pumphrey has to prevent herself. He was licking and barking. During the excitement, I helped the chauffeur to bring out of beds, toys, cushions, coats, and bowls, none of which has been used. As the car moved away, Mrs. Pumphrey leaned out of the window. Tears shone in her eyes. Her lips trembled. Oh, Mr. Harriet, she cried, how can I ever thank you? This is a triumph of surgery. So, in that excitement, the driver and Dr. Harriet, they brought all the things, cushions, toys, beds, coats, bowls, etc., and none of these has been used. Okay, and the car moved away, and Mrs. Pumphrey from window, she was very excited, and she said that she could never thank him, and she thought that, and she also said that this is a triumph of surgery. Okay, she thought that Dr. Harriet performed a surgery on Tricky, and this is the result of a surgery. But we all know that Dr. Harriet didn't give him a single medicine, not a single tablet or injection or any kind of surgery. So that was basically the lot of exercise and strict meal. Okay, so this is our lesson, A Triumph of Surgery by James Harriet. Thank you. Have a nice day.